So on today's episode, we talked to my buddy Chris, who's been bankrupt twice and went all the way from a drug addict to the founder of a publicly traded beverage company. Check it out. So Chris, man, like, we used to work together. When was this, like 2000?
I worked for Neel.
Okay.
Yeah, like I worked for you and your brother. And I actually used to look up to you.
Really?
I did. Neel's one of the smartest guys I've ever known. Again, I was joking before we started. If you tested Neel's IQ, I'm sure it's off the charts.
Oh, thanks, man.
If you haven't worked with him and you see this and you're considering it, you should. He's one of the smartest guys around. So yeah, I worked more for you than with you, but.
Yeah, but that was our first kind of introduction. I know you had grown up with a lot of the guys that Arjun and Martin worked with back in the day, and then you know, then the market collapsed and everybody kind of went their separate ways, dispersed. Me and my brother stayed with mortgages, and everybody else kind of went their own way. So, what did you do? Like, what was your journey after the collapse? Because that was 2007, 2008. Yeah.
So, once I left Reno, I got into. I tried to do mortgages and failed at it pretty poorly.
Okay.
I never really learned sales skills, like proper sales technique. I would tell anyone who's listening to this, who's thinking of being an entrepreneur, you have to learn that skill. Go through the training, you know, really learn how to sell and sell yourself. But yeah, I got into mortgage, failed, lost all my money, so hit rock bottom. And then I got into finance just on a whim. I took a job selling insurance, and it was like door to door.
Okay.
And it was brutal. It was boiler room. I'm not leaving your living room unless you kick me out. You're either buying this or calling the cops sort of scenario, right? Okay. But I got really good at it, got really good at sales, and then, you know, I became a top producer, and then we branched off and built our own office. So ironically, in 2008 was the year I made the most amount of money I've ever made. You know, we were selling safety and insurance and annuities and things that protect wealth, you know, when it all came crashing down. So 2008 was a great year for me, personally and financially. Although I would say, I was telling you before the podcast, I was pretty miserable.
Yeah.
I think once you hit certain levels of income, you realize that the money doesn't always make you happy.
Yeah. And it's hard. That's a good point. Like, I see that happen all the time where when you don't have it, or when like you lost it and you want to get it back, that's the first thing. That's the only thing you think about. Right. But then you start to realize, like, it doesn't really help. Like, you know, I mean, it's good. Like, if you and I did something and we made a bunch of money this month, what does that change? Like, you have a bunch of money in the bank, an extra zero or whatever, right? But then, and I know that sounds, you know, kind of elitist to somebody who doesn't have money, but at the same time, like, you don't wake up the next day and you're like, oh, I'm super happy now because I got an extra 6 figures in the bank.
It doesn't change any of your insecurities or shortcomings or if depression or any, you know, thing that you're dealing with, right? Like, and to your point, to your listeners too, like, you know, at my lowest, I would have been like, fuck these guys. Like, you have money now. It's easy to say that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
of course.
By the way, am I allowed to cuss? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, but to your point, yeah, I mean, if you're out there and once you get it, just realize that it's fleeting in a way. You know, it helps you have better health care and take care of your kids if you have them, and your parents, which is one reason I got out of comedy, because I was like, I can't be a starving artist in my 30s. Like, that's just, I can't do it.
Yeah. So then how did you get, okay, so you did the insurance thing. It wasn't fulfilling. You made some money.
Yeah, ton of money.
Financial product sales, basically, right?
Yeah.
And then one day you just realized, like, this isn't for me, or was it like a transition where you're going to do this plus a side hustle?
Yeah, so I think for most people, you know, I was thinking about coming on here today and what you might ask and talk about. And I think one of the big things for me is, like, we live in this culture of super hustle, and I think it's awesome. I think the downside of the super hustle movement is that you can get really isolated. I think we live in a culture too where technology is really isolating people. And there's a lot of people that really feel lonely, but they don't know how to talk about it. So I was super hustle mode, you know, lost contact with friends, all that. And it kind of happened slowly, dude. It was, you know, I remember making, you know, my first $400,000 a year, and then $500,000, and then, you know, north of $500,000, and I had the car, I had the whip, I had the girlfriend, you know, dating a Broncos cheerleader, pushing a 750 on rims, all those things, a sick penthouse in downtown Denver. And I remember waking up every day just feeling sort of dead inside. And then it got really dark, you know, I got really depressed and didn't know how to deal with it. So it happened kind of slowly, and then I just realized I didn't love finance like I thought I did. It's kind of like, and that industry is great. And I think there's a lot of really great professionals in that industry. But yeah, it just wasn't for me. I felt like I was selling stuff that just wasn't really, really helping. And you said earlier, I am a very outgoing guy, very creative, and so the industry didn't lend any creativity to me. I couldn't. It kind of shit on too the way that I am. I'm obviously covered in tattoos and a little different, and showing up for meetings in a suit every day just started to wear on me. And I wanted to do something. So how did it start? How did the transition start? Yeah, I started doing podcasts. In 2008, and started making videos.
But this is before podcasts were everybody had podcasts. Like this is like years and years before content was even big.
Yeah, no. So I had the full setup and was making videos, and we had a show, and
you're probably before it was hitting mass audience too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you were early.
Totally. But I so much fell in love with, and I'd love to hear how you feel about it, because you're such a technical guy.
Yeah.
But I fell in love with creation. I fell in love with going, hey, I made this video and people responded to it. It gave me so much energy. Yeah. And I think part of it may have been ego, but another part was just, hey, I'm really touching people in a certain way, and it really fired me up. And so I started doing comedy videos, or like funny videos, or what I thought was funny. And then someone was like, hey, you should try stand-up. And on a whim, I just went to Comedy Works, which is one of the best clubs in the world, and entered a contest and won, and was immediately hooked. If you've ever spoken live or done anything like that, it's intense.
I've had the opposite experience. I don't like it.
No? Yeah, I can see that.
Well, that's because we're doing informational, so I get super nervous, and then it's a really dry room.
Yeah.
And you're trying to connect with people, and it's tough, But I'm getting better at it for sure.
That's good. It's a skill set. I mean, a lot of people think they're funny, and then
they're not.
They're not.
Yeah.
You're really not.
And so that you did for several years too, right?
Yeah. So I went, I'm one of those full tilt guys. I do everything, including the bad things, 100%. And I jumped into it full steam. Like I would even practice at night. I'd set up a camera, and I would look into it and tell jokes. And then I would watch the video and be like, that was dumb. This is stupid.
Yeah.
And I've done Gotham and Laugh Factory. I've done shows with TJ Miller, Dave Chappelle. I've worked with all of them, and traveled to do it. I always joked that I was on tour, which I wasn't. It was just, we did a lot of traveling for it.
Yeah.
And comedy's really hard. It's, I would argue it's probably the hardest art form on the planet.
Yeah.
And the reason being, you're all alone. You're either, and it's also conversely what I love about it, that you're either good or you're not. There's no pretending, right?
Yeah.
You either sink or swim. And so, but it's a really hard lifestyle. Those guys and girls don't make any money. They travel a ton. It's really lonely. You can go crush one night in front of 400 people, and then you're just in some rinky-dink hotel in Kansas, and it's hard to come off that high.
Yeah.
So a lot of people self-medicate and drink, and there's just no money in it. And so 5 years into it, I wrote a movie that got optioned, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna make $1 million doing art. Like, this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. And I didn't pay attention to my finances, and went broke again.
Okay. And that's so this is something that's important that you bring up. Many people have their passion, but it's not practical, right?
Right.
So you talk about you're in a business that's you're excelling, you're making big money,
crushing.
but it's not fulfilling. You're not happy, so you want to find something that does make you happy, and then it flips to the other spectrum, and you're like, "Fuck, dude, I'm not gonna make any money in this," and it's actually causing complete financial disaster.
Yeah.
So then you have two sides, but there's something in the middle where you don't enjoy 100% of what you do, but you still are happy. Like you're amped up, you're ready to go every day.
Yeah.
And there's still stuff like that you're not gonna love, right? Or is it possible to find something that you just
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think Charles Bukowski said, "Find what you love and let it kill you." I think he said that too, because if you find something you love, it probably will kill you if you go full tilt, right? For him it was art or writing and drinking, and it eventually did kill him. But it all becomes a job. right? Like you might love to do comedy or like you might love to snowboard, but if you do it every day and there's pressure to perform and it starts to wear on you. So,
but yeah, I was talking about this the other day too. Like we transitioned our business, so we were in the same kind of stale, terrible business as far as no creativity, no marketing really. It's all sales.
Yeah.
People just what deals can we get
which
today?
is hard. That's a hard position
because you're basically as good as your yesterday's numbers. You know,
which gets exhausting. It's hard.
You feel like you're on a hamster wheel always, right?
Yeah.
So and I was like, how do I get off of this and build something that's more sustainable? So then we got into the content stuff, and the content stuff, it was the same thing. Like I loved creating something, getting that positive feedback from the audience, like, oh, I like this, or oh, this helped me, or you know. And I'm not going to be able to entertain people, but I can definitely inform people.
Yeah.
And I could do it in a unique way. I could be myself and not be the typical, you know, banker guy. So doing that, like all of a sudden it was like, okay,
that's dope, though. Good for you, bro.
Yeah, now I don't hate what I do. Because I was getting burnt out. It wasn't like I hated it, but it was just after doing it for 15 years, you get burnt out. You know, it's like the same thing and the same chase of the next month's deals.
Yeah.
And you're just on this wheel. So this kind of transition to now it's more like you're actually building something sustainable. It's like a brand that you're building and you attract business. You don't have to really chase people anymore.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of flipped it for me. But at the end of the day, I still need to take care of the deals and stuff. So I did a thing last week where I was like, yeah, you can have fun, put out content and do this stuff, but at the same time, like, don't forget to fly the plane. You still got to,
which people do.
They forget to do the fundamentals of like meet with the clients, get the business done, run the business properly. Don't, you know, just make sure your money's going to the right places and stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you go all the way to the fun stuff, the other stuff dies.
Yeah, no, but you're a very wise guy. I feel like you're very smart. I did exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And neglected the important stuff, and it crushed me.
We see it all happen all the time. Like people are like, they jump all the way on the other side.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a couple of years later, the business is in shambles.
Right.
But if you managed them both, there's a way to manage them both, I think. And then that's where the magic is.
Well, let me ask you, how do you, because I think certain people are, like, you're a highly organized guy. Like if you guys have seen Neel's desk, it's unbelievably immaculate, right? Like I feel like you're a very immaculate, you're an organized guy. Like how do you manage both? How are you able to, mentally, as a father, as an investor, as a banker, someone who really cares about his business and the content, wanting to put out really rad content, how do you manage
I think you just do the best you can. So I don't know if this is a skill, but could you have 10 things going on, like a couple fires with business, some problems to take care of, a client issue, your phone has a bunch of emails and texts that you need to reply to.
Yeah.
And you're doing something. Can you have all that going on?
Ooh. Oh, ghosts. Did we just catch Paranormal Activity on film?
Yes. So can you have all that going on and then kind of compartmentalize that and just deal with what's in front of you for the next 30, 40 minutes and then get back, you know, like, so just juggling all that stuff. A lot of people will ask me, how do you keep track of everything, or how do you
have a system you use? Do you have we use ClickUp because at Koios we have so many projects happening all the time, from events to.
Ours is not that great, the one we use, but we have a communication tool called Slack. It's used by most companies now for just instant messaging, and then within there you can set projects and reminders and calendars. I also use like other productivity.
Did it take you a while to get your team to fully integrate it and like get it?
Yeah, like some people are like,
because sometimes it feels like an extra step. You're like, fuck, I don't want to log into this stupid thing.
Exactly. Same thing with like CRM. People don't want to add, but then they'll forget if they don't. So once they see the value in it, then I think it's that's always a problem, is getting people to implement. But once they see some value or like something positive come from that, they're in. So that's what we do to keep track of stuff. And I think it's just a matter of like, how much can you handle? And I'm comfortable with chaos, basically. I like it. So it makes it more, I would rather do that than be bored.
Yeah.
You know, or like.
I've had to get good at it. Like for a long time, so I got diagnosed with ADHD, and the reason we started Koios, you know, is because I had a drug problem with Adderall. It was destroying my life.
Okay.
I always joked that I wasn't in back alleys doing shady stuff for it, but it got pretty bad. And come to find out, like I went to therapy, like because I got, you know, it's hard. Nevada's hard to describe, especially Carson. We grew up in Carson, which is the Wild West still, but I grew up in a very macho environment. So It was always about how cool you are, how tough you are, how big you are, how much money you make. And that kind of ruined me as an adult. Meaning like I could never tell people I was struggling with certain things, right?
Yeah.
But come to find out, I'm on the spectrum of autism too. So I get really obsessive compulsive about certain things. And then too much sensory overload for me is a problem. So like, I walk around our office. So now we have around, I don't know, just in our office day to day, 10, but we have 40 people that work on our, so there's a lot going on.
Yep.
And I have to walk around with noise canceling headphones on all day, or else, I had and I had a couple times where I really lashed out on some people, like
really
freaked out and realized I have an issue. So I think for everyone listening, it's like diets, right? You got to kind of figure out what works for you and be really open to the process.
But I've felt that where like there's so many things going on, and then somebody's trying to talk to you, and then your phone rings, and you want to break something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it gets to you for a second.
Which I did openly. I was such a dick. I don't know how people work for me. They're either terrified or it's only because I pay them, or like it's a joke. But like, I'm an intense guy, and then too much chaos drives me a little nuts. But I've learned to deal with it. I've learned it. You know what I really learned with the team is to learn to communicate, to be very vulnerable and go, hey, Neel, San Diego, I forgot your name. Eric, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now, and I feel like I want to lash out. So if you could give me a few minutes, I'm going to just walk away. I'm not mad at you. I just need to process what you're saying, and then I'll come back. But it took every relationship I had to the next level, because now people would go, oh, okay, I get it. Or, and it would help me communicate so that I didn't freak out and throw a can across the room.
That's a good idea. I already learned something.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, because I usually just keep it inside.
Yeah, I couldn't anymore. I was like freaking out.
So you talk about like hustle culture, and basically like everybody promotes work hard, put in the work, grind 24/7.
Lunches for pussies, grind till you pass out.
And I think like they talk about that because it is required. Like I don't think you can build anything really big and sustainable without putting in a lot of work. But I think the thing that people don't realize is like when you're doing all this stuff, you're juggling 20 different things, and it's because you actually like it and you don't really think of it as chaos or working. Like you'll put in the 20-hour day or whatever, or however many crazy hours in the week, but you don't feel like you're really grinding like crazy to the point of detriment,
right? Because
you just want to do it. That's what you want to do. You want to build something, and you're getting something mentally back from it.
Yeah. You know what I found, bro, is like number one, I think for those of you listening, there's only one thing I could help you with is I think we're tribal people. Sebastian Junger wrote a book called Tribes, and it blew my mind. Yeah. I remember, when like you read a really good book, and every few minutes you just put it down and go, what? Yeah. It was one of those experiences for me because and I'll tell you all about Koios, but like Koios was this really cool project, and it allowed us to be who we wanted to be and do what we want. But then I was still getting miserable. And I realized part of it was because I stopped doing things that I really loved. And part of that, what I really love is like hanging out with my boys, right?
Yeah.
I used to think way back when I hustled even hard, like not harder, but I totally bought into that. And I do, that sounds weird. I would sort of isolate myself and be like, oh, my boys are at a barbecue. I can't fucking do it. I got to make more content. I got to answer more emails. And then I just miserable. So what I would tell people is, balance it out somehow. And I would say that even for me, it's little things like I bought a one wheel, and I get on my one wheel every day at the same time, and I just ride through Denver, and I'll go get like a coffee, and that brings so much joy to my day that it makes the day awesome. And then like 5 o'clock I go, we sponsor a bunch of UFC guys, so I train with a bunch of dudes from, but that's part of my schedule now. So like,
by the way, real quick on the one wheel, somebody told me about this. Do you can your nose go down and then you just eat shit?
Yeah.
So that's the one reason why I don't I'm like scared, because I have a boosted board and I do the same thing. I'll ride around the neighborhood. Yeah. Like it clears your head. It's cool.
Yeah, it's the best.
I really like it, but I'm apprehensive about the one wheel because of that.
For those of you listening, you got to be careful. I've wrecked so many times, so bad, publicly too. Like where you fall and you're like, 30 people just saw me eat shit. Oh, I'm an adult. That shouldn't happen. Yeah. So be careful. One wheels are dangerous, and they go like 25 miles an hour.
Okay. So sorry I interrupt you.
No, it's all good.
I have ADD as well.
So fun, but I realized like little things during the day. So like the UFC guys, I get there, it's 5 o'clock. Everyone on my team knows it's part of my schedule, but I get to be in the locker room and punch mitts and then grab ass with everybody and talk shit, and it makes me feel like I'm a part of something. And I can tell you, just those little implementations in my life it's like a 10x return, right?
Okay.
Which has made the work funner. I think you end up being more creative. Yeah. Your work is better. You're better to your clients. You're better to your customers, your people.
So you like step away for a minute.
I think you have to. I would argue you have to, or you're going to burn out somehow. I read this Harvard Business Review about balance, essentially, and because I had this theory for a long time that I would shove down people's throat. I was like, why don't we treat business more like athletes treat their day-to-day? Meaning, if LeBron James practiced 20 hours a day, he wouldn't be in the NBA anymore. He'd be burned out. His body would give up, right? Mm-hmm. What great athletes are really good at is recovery. Why don't we spend more time recovering? Now, because I think the theory is people think, for recovery I have to go to Aspen for a week. Yeah. And I don't think that's true. I think if you can do mini recoveries every day, your life will be 10 times happier, no matter what you're doing. But yeah, that was one of the issues. That's one of the issues I have with like the hustle culture. It's like no one ever talks about recovery. No one ever talks about like self-care. No one ever talks about like mental health. No one ever talks about, and those things are real, dude. People can
and it does get I really understand what you're saying about the isolation thing, because basically if you're running your own business or you're a solopreneur sort of, you
like that word.
Yeah, basically like it ends with you. Like you have to do everything. Right. So then everything is your fault. So you're like, you have to get everything done, and everybody comes to you with all their problems. And
you like me? Do you obsess? Were you like?
Yeah. Like just you wanted to always push the envelope. You want to get basically on tilt. Like you're living your life on tilt. But then at the same time, you don't think you're on tilt. You just think like this is what you should be doing. Right. So you can become completely isolated from family, friends, everybody. And then you like, shit, all of a sudden I
feel lonely, yeah.
Yeah, and then you're like, fuck, what did I do? So it would be cool along the way to have like stepped away a little bit from all that.
Yeah, just ride your skateboard at lunch. Be a weirdo. Like go out in the sun and ride your skateboard and smile like a little kid. In the morning, instead of driving to get coffee, I started walking. It's a 30-minute walk. Because I think people listening to this will be like, I don't have time for that. Like you do. You just haven't decided. Or I always tell the dog on the nail thing. You ever heard this one?
No.
His buddy comes to his friend's house. He's sitting on the porch. He has an old basset hound on the porch, and the basset hound keeps moaning every few minutes. The guy's like, "What's wrong with your dog?" And he goes, "He's laying on a nail." And he goes, "Why doesn't he move?" And he goes, "It doesn't hurt bad enough." And I think most people are laying on the nail, and it doesn't hurt bad enough for you to make a change. For me, I'd hit rock bottom. I was like, I have my dream company. We get to work with professional athletes, travel all over the world. It's kind of cool, right? Yeah. But I'm still kind of unhappy. And so, again, to that point of like, you can work hard and have money and have everything, but if there's not some balance, if you're not taking care of your brain, you're going to fall apart at some point, I think. Some people like you, like I know Neel's got you have a high drive. You have a high capacity to focus, work hard. And some people just don't have that. Like I used to think, I started in Amway. I tried to get you and your brother in it. They said no, by the way, so I didn't do a very good job.
But even then, like we knew you were all about, like you were always hustling for something. So it was like you were trying to do mortgages. Yeah. Maybe look at doing real estate. At the same time, you were selling us fucking Amway. You're selling us
which is a great business if you're in it. Yeah. I learned a lot from it. It's a great thing.
We were doing the energy drinks, and it's kind of crazy because like when I saw this, like that was the first thing you sold us was the fucking Amway energy drink. Remember that? Yeah. Like you loved that one energy drink, and that was the number one product like that you pushed.
They sold that for $3 billion.
Wow. Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Jesus.
To Amway.
Wow.
Isn't that gnarly?
That is crazy. Yeah. So, tell us about. So you're doing the comedy thing that's dying. Basically, you realize it's not practical. You're not gonna make any money doing this. So then, how did you come to? How do you say it?
Koios.
Koios
Was the god of intellect.
How did this?
We thought it was
how was
super,
this born?
Yeah, we thought the name was super clever. I was like, it's like Nike, and then people can't pronounce it, and I was like, that was probably a bad idea.
Well, it's easy once you tell me Koios, but
yeah, business life lesson. It's never going to be perfect. You're never going to. It's the design will always change. You know, just start it, right? I got diagnosed with ADHD and got prescribed Adderall, and so I was suffering from that. You know, for those of you who take Adderall, I'd highly encourage you to get off of it. You know, it's only one molecule away from being methamphetamine.
Yeah.
It ruins all kinds of functions in your body, from hormonal function to.
How much Adderall were you taking?
120 milligrams a day.
Holy shit!
Which is like doing meth.
Yeah.
I was cracked out.
Well, I have ADHD, not HD or ADD. I don't know what the difference is, but they prescribed me the same thing. But the amount I was taking is 10 milligrams a day.
Yeah.
It's like the lowest dose possible.
Yeah, no, and yes, for some people it really works. Like, it made me a weirdo. Like, I would take 2 of them and then drink, and it would make me like sexually compulsive, where I would like, middle of the day, I'd be like booty calling people.
Wow. Because
of what amphetamines do to your brain. And then I would just keep upping the dose, and I'd have to take Ambien to go to sleep. And I have all kinds of weird Ambien stories of taking too many, and my team or my roommates finding me like walking around the house, talking to the walls. Yeah, it was weird. Conversely, at the same time, I was doing comedy, and I realized pretty quickly that I probably wasn't going to make good money in it. I don't have children like you. You're beautiful children, but I do have a mother who counts on me, and I was like, I can't just be a broke comedian which is fine. If you're okay with that lifestyle, that's dope. Good for you. Yeah. It takes a lot of courage to walk that path, right? To be that different, to not worry about material possession or needs or income or whatever. But I couldn't do it, and so the ironic part about Koios is that I started it to just be an online e-commerce dropship style business that I could make $3 or $4 grand a month doing, and still be creative. Like, there's as driven as I am, to the point of like even hurting myself being driven. There's a huge part of me that's also a lazy, like, artist. Like, I want to be a drunk poet, like, and live in Paris and say whimsical shit, and people go, "Oh, that's awesome. He's so brilliant."
But you're also a capitalist too, like
100%.
You've been selling stuff since I knew you.
Yeah, I used to sell gumballs in elementary school.
Yeah.
So no, I am, and I think I'm only a capitalist. Like, I understand. There's still a part of me that wants to make a lot of money. I don't think I've ever admitted this to anyone. I think there's a lot of me that wants to make money because I still am tied to the scorecard.
Yeah.
I'm still very much tied to, hey, look what I did.
Yep.
Look how much money I have.
Even though you won't tell people that, you walk around, like, even if you say you did really well, you have a bunch of money in the bank, even though nobody would know that, you're keeping that scorecard in your head, and you're like,
100%.
It gives you confidence. You're like walking around like, oh, I'm successful.
Which is also dangerous because I remember making $500-600 grand a year as this guy, and I thought I was a good entrepreneur, and I wasn't. It's a totally different skill set. Learning to sell and then building a business.
Sales is just a hamster wheel. Because the second you stop selling, your business stops.
It's over.
So there's nothing sustainable.
You said something smart earlier, though, too. I think what you're learning is like building systems.
Yes.
Like, there's a difference between having a goal and a system. I read a book by this guy who said goals are dumb.
Because how are you going to achieve them? Like, it's big.
Consistently.
I'm going to make 7 figures this year. Well, how the fuck are you going to do that?
And then do it consistently without dying or being on that hamster wheel, right?
Yeah.
Systems are savage.
Big time.
And what you're building is a rad system. It ironically was meant to just be a $3,000 to $4,000 a month thing. I wanted to make a natural alternative to Adderall, so I spent years in a kitchen, like, experimenting and working with, some of the top people in the world at what they do to help us formulate it. At the time, I realized too that people love Adderall and the stuff that we make, and if you look at Bang's success with 300 milligrams of caffeine, and I don't think our brains have caught up yet. We haven't evolved as a species to deal with what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And what I mean by that is, there's too much data. There's too much noise. even your car, like you have a Tesla, but like for those of you who don't, you have like a gas car, it even goes, hey, stupid, you're out of gas, like pull over, or like your tire price, like there's something always beeping at us. And I don't think we've evolved to keep up with that.
And so, your phone and everything else, right?
Dude, it's nuts. Like I get made fun of every day because I keep my phone on Do Not Disturb, and people are like, "You're the CEO of a publicly traded company." I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't. If I let my phone ding at me all day, I'd be a wreck." Yeah. So I never answer the phone, and people get upset about it.
You get
but I
back
don't
to
care.
them later, or reorganize it later.
So yeah, and then we developed it, and very quickly realized that the market was sort of clamoring for something better than just caffeine. It took off. We back on that hamster wheel. We would literally walk into supplement stores and go, here's what's going to happen. You're either going to pick up our supplement or you're going to have to call the cops, because I'm not leaving until you make a decision.
Really?
Yeah. And it would usually make someone laugh. And I'd be like, no, I'm serious. Like, those are the two choices. And so...
You put your sales cap back on.
Yeah, sales cap. And for those of you who are like listening to this and you're thinking about starting a product, when you're making those pitches too, always make it an easy decision in the sense that you can take all the risk out. Yeah. So we used to take all the risk out, meaning I'd say that and be like, but look, if it doesn't work, I'll buy it all back. I'll even buy the bottles you sold back. I'm that confident that it's going to work. Yeah. And nobody ever made us buy bottles back.
Yeah. It's a grand promise that like you never have to really deal with.
Right. Yeah. But we meant it. It was sincere.
But the confidence is what matters then, I think, because then people they can tell like if he's this confident.
Yeah.
So I would tell people like, why not say I'm the best? My product's the best.
I would.
Like, technically, maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe there's somebody else, but who cares?
Right.
Like, why not put that out there?
Yeah, I agree. And then we had some success, and very, very, very stupidly, very dumb. Like my ego has gotten me in so much fucking trouble my whole life. It's just, he's such an asshole. Right? So very egotistically, there was some of it that was like, yeah, I really want to reach more people. Yeah. And we thought, hey, a beverage is a good delivery system. People aren't as like afraid of a beverage as they are a supplement. No research, just total testosterone-based decision. Let's put this in a drink. That'll be dope.
So what was it the first part? It was actually like a
powders and capsules.
Okay, so you would swallow the pill.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then very stupidly, we decided to put out a beverage, and it got crushed. Almost went bankrupt again.
And why is that? I don't understand. Why is that a dumb move?
It was dumb for us because we didn't understand the market.
Okay.
We didn't understand the capital requirements necessary to really build a beverage brand.
Okay.
We didn't understand distribution. We didn't understand retail. We work with some of the biggest retailers in the world, and it's like learning a new language.
But isn't it true that like if you knew all that shit, it may have prevented you from doing it? Like I understand that you're going half. You're going before you've done all your research, but what if all that shit was too onerous and you're like, fuck, I don't know if I can do
love this question because it's a great teaching point.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have stopped us, but it would have changed. I think it would have saved us a lot of mental damage.
Okay.
We would have started small, more regionally, really focused on supply chain. We would have really focused on local distribution that we could control, so that we could drive down price points and MSRPs. We would have built the team locally. We would have been able to control more of our margin. Not spend as much money. But we went too wide too fast, and it almost broke us. It was really scary.
How'd that turn around for you?
We pulled back after we realized we had gone over our skis pretty badly, which was hard for me, right? Again, another ego move of like, man, I screwed this up. Like, I really fucked this up. And people's lives were on the line, and we had investors at that point. And so it was kind of a dark time for me too. And then around 2016, so yeah, 4 years ago, we rebranded. We realized our branding sucked. The drinks sucked. We just missed the mark. So we went back to the drawing board, and we had to eat that pill of like, we're all going to live on $2,000 a month again in our 30s and figure this out.
Yeah.
And thank God for the team that I have, because I have some soldiers on my team who are like, all right, dude, let's do it. We're all willing to take that step back too, to figure this out.
Yep.
And we rebranded. we went out and raised 10 million bucks and went back to war. And then, shortly after relaunching, we launched pretty quickly into over 5,000 stores, including Walmart's, GNC's, Whole Foods.
So one thing that I think, like, people hear these kind of stories all the time. They got ideas for their own product or whatever they want to do. And they don't realize, like, okay, so you have an idea to take this from a supplement to an actual drink, carbonated drink, or whatever drink you're going to do. Like, how do you where do you begin? Like as far as how do you come up with the ideas of who's going to help you make this, or how are you going to do? Is that just a research process that takes time, or what?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. You're right. I'm glad you slowed that down, because I feel like I listen to podcasts sometimes and I'm like,
dude, how do you go?
Yeah, but how'd you get there?
Like, how'd you? Kitchen how does it get to this? And then is it when you're selling supplements, does the government have to approve what you put in drinks? Is it FDA kind of thing, or?
No. So they tried years ago, and a bunch of supplement lobbyists basically squashed that.
Okay. So can you sell whatever you want, basically?
You could.
And
you get in trouble. So there's banned stuff. There's you can't sell hormones. You can't, even though some people do it, you can't have, a lot of them get tested, right? So, but yeah, it's pretty scary that way. I think food and beverage still has a long way to go. And even with labeling, right? There's a ton of foods out there that you guys are eating that you think are great, and they're not, because food companies can label things pretty misleading. It sucks, but it's true. And you'd be shocked if you go down that rabbit hole, how many things you ingest that just are not good for your body.
I bet, yeah. I'd rather not know, I think.
Right? Yeah, that would eliminate a lot of things for you, Neel.
Yeah. I need to up my game on that part.
Yeah. You're lucky. You could probably eat whatever you want still, and you still look amazing.
Well, I'm trying to outsource it, so I buy meals I would eat the bad things all the time. So then I found a meal service that would just make the food.
Yeah, those are great.
And they just deliver it to you, and then I don't have to think about it.
Yeah, those are great. So yeah, but most of those never make it to top tiers, right? So consumers are pretty smart now. They have access to a ton of information, so they know what good ingredients are, good manufacturing practices. Most people can't manufacture at a high level without having to go through every check and balance, meaning you could start small, and I'll get to that. I'll get granular on that. You could start small and buy bulk powders, right? If you were I want to make a health and beauty product and it had beta carotene in it and vitamin C, you could order all that bulk, which would just take a Google search and you'd find bulk ingredients.
Yeah.
And you could put those capsules together by hand and put them in a bottle and slap some duct tape on it and say Neel supplements and walk around and try to sell them. And you might get a couple stores who go, yeah, this is a great idea.
Yeah.
As you start to scale the business, though, there's so many rules and checks and balances that, it'd be hard to be a dirtbag and make bad things.
All the way to the shelf.
For us, we're obviously very fanatical about what goes in stuff. Hyper fanatical.
So let's talk about that. What's in this?
So we have nootropics like L-tyrosine.
What is nootropics for people that don't know?
Yeah, it's a Greek word. It basically means anything that it would enhance brain function. So technically cocaine is a nootropic. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Nicotine is a nootropic. Nicotine in small doses has been shown to dramatically increase brain function. Psilocybin is a nootropic.
Adderall,
yeah. Meth. Yeah. Caffeine. But for us, we focus on nootropics that are earth grown, things that have dual benefit, like it's going to give you focus, but also build brain function over time as well. Okay. Repair, help adrenal function. So you're kind of getting
lost brain cells. You can repair?
You can.
Really?
You can. You can rebuild.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't make someone dumb smart. Maybe
right.
A little bit.
That's on them. Yeah.
Okay.
We have mushrooms in there. It's the only beverage in the world right now with lion's mane mushroom, which we're super excited about.
What is MCT oil and what does that do?
MCT oil is a healthy fat derived from coconuts.
Okay.
Helps with brain function, helps you feel satiated so you don't feel as hungry. It's got a lot of functions to it.
Cool. So you come up with kind of ideas of what you want to put in it. Then there's a testing of how to how to get it to taste right, right? Like,
yeah, which took us 5 years. So again, going granular, like if you have an idea, especially in food and beverage, it was years of us just, doing a ton of research. So if your idea was to make a new sneaker that had biodegradable soles, you could do enough homework and find someone who could build you the prototype, someone who'd probably build it for free if you were clever enough. You could find someone to help you with the design. I mean, it's going to take a lot of hard work in your spare time of coming up with some of the concepts. You could do all your own. I mean, don't you think, Neel, you're, again, one of the most brilliant guys I know, but don't you think anything you have ever wanted to accomplish, that data is available?
Yeah, through Google.
And books. You can still read books. Those are real. Yeah. But everything you've ever wanted, abs, how to get women, how to have better sex, how to have better body function, how to be rich, how to build a business, it's all there.
Yeah, the books are there,
Yeah. It just takes a little digging. So, yeah, back to the sneaker concept. You get a prototype. You could even build a fake Instagram account to test it, just to see if the idea would work. Okay. We're about to launch a new enhanced coffee line, and before we even had it available, we threw it out on the internet to see what the reaction would be.
It's like a focus group.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can do a lot of that testing and development early and do it for very little money. And then, you at some point you have to figure out a go-to-market strategy. Okay. Am I going to go direct to retail? Am I going to walk around and sell these out of the trunk of my car? And some of your capital position will determine your strategy, right? Okay.
How about raising money?
That's a tough one, I think. I think I got lucky because I came from finance, so I spoke that language. I obviously had a ton of confidence when talking about large sums of money.
I can just picture you pitching an investor, like, it's pretty. You probably made a pretty compelling case.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think like anybody who's invested in companies, or they realize like they're not investing in this, or like they're investing in you.
Right.
Your ability to like, are you gonna live, breathe, and die for this?
Yeah.
It's gonna work because it all rests on you at the end of the day.
So Neel, you make a great point. Like I think
because the idea is everywhere, right?
Yeah. Ideas are, what's that saying? Like
useless,
ideas
basically.
are like assholes. Everyone has one.
Yeah, exactly.
They are useless. The magic is in the execution, and execution is really hard. It's like the idea of like, why don't more people have abs? You know how to have them.
Yeah, the information's right there.
Why don't they have them though?
Because they don't want to put in the work.
It's hard.
It's
really, really hard to have abs.
I wish I did, but
yeah, me too. Yeah. I don't. They're under like 4 inches of fat. Raising money's, it's. I think if there's any young listeners on this, or I guess it doesn't matter. I think one of the things that I didn't focus on getting out of college is my network. Look, I wish I would have paid more attention to what you were doing and stayed in better touch. When I did learn that concept, every person I would meet, and it may sound selfish, but I've always been one of those guys that if I meet someone, I go, this person gives me energy or they're smart. I'd love to just be a part of their tribe. I'd love to every now and then call Neel and be like, hey, buddy, because you're brilliant. I'd love to be able to call you and be like, hey, I'm thinking about this, moving some money in these stocks. I know you used to day trade. Yeah, hey, what do you think? Because that information is priceless. Yeah. So I used to stay in touch with a lot of guys, and I knew some of the guys that were wealthy and, did big business deals. And when I had the idea, I actually just cold called them and asked for a meeting and started pitching, and then working my way through each person. So if you're listening then to this and you're like, I don't know any wealthy people, then start asking people. Somebody does. Yeah. And push for a meeting. Ask for the phone number. And know that when you go, you can create value somehow. Yeah. Or that you're that confident in your concept that this person needs to hear it. They need to be a part of it. Yeah. And so I just kept pushing. Like I met with the president of AXA Financial and hard closed him. I was like, give me some money. Yeah. Put your client's money in this. And he was like, dude, I can't. But I know a guy. Yeah. And I was like, well, can you call him right now and put him on speaker? Like, I was aggressive about it though.
But it's just crazy because so many people are saying no for like, they're already saying no before they even ask, right? They're not even asking. So like, another strategy, or you probably are really good at this, but this works for salespeople of any sort. Yeah. But like when you're reaching out cold to somebody.
I feel like I'm going to hit something back here.
Okay. I think you're okay. So if you're reaching out to people cold, DM, email, or call, there's the tact to doing this, right? You can't just.
Do you do this for the show?
Yeah, for the show, or for people I want to meet, or people I would love to do business with, or like someone I'd like to get that meeting with, right? And like everyone will listen to this and be like, oh, well, I took Chris's advice or Neel's advice. I asked like 40 people to meet with me for whatever I'm trying to sell,
right?
Whether it's my product or service or whatever, and nobody responded. And I think like they don't understand. Well, they give up, but the problem is I think there's something to be said for how you ask, right? Like when you're asking someone for a meeting, how are you doing it?
Yeah, that's so my approach is going to be a little bit different because I'm an aggressive person.
Okay.
People always think I'm yelling and I'm not. They're always like, "Why are you mad?" I'm like, "I'm not. This is just how I am." If I were asking for a meeting, I would, it's different. Like I recently reached out to someone that is a competitor. He's a really well-known CEO, and I hated him for a long time. I hated him. Yeah. I wanted to fight. I met him. I bumped into him at Burning Man. I was like, I want to punch him in the face. And someone was like, "Why, bro?" And I was like, "I don't know, because I'm hyper competitive."
Yeah.
And I used to judge him, frankly. And I reached out to him very humbly. So this approach was different, and just immediately said, "I'm sorry" in the subject line. And it was this, 3-paragraph approach of like, "Hey, I judged you and I'm sorry, and that was wrong, and I'd love to actually get to know you." And he responded. From one CEO to another, like I think we should get together, and so that worked for that. But like for me, if you're raising money
or selling anything,
okay, that's different. So if you're selling something, number one, you have to put a ton of emphasis on your own time. So oftentimes people in sales will make cold calls and it's like, "Hey, could you, or do you have any time available?" And that's just a shitty approach. You're going to get shit on every time, and people aren't going to take you seriously. Any sales call would be, you want to think through what the objections would be, and then eliminate those throughout the conversation. So, if I was calling someone, like we used to cold call stores, I'd done 40 calls, like Neel said, and not given up, and realized here's all the things that these guys and girls hate. And then I would build that into the presentation. So I'd say, "Hey, Neel, are you the owner?" And he'd go, "Yeah." And I'd go, "Hey, great, I'm Chris Miller, the CEO of Koios Beverage Corp. We have X, Y, and Z. I really want to work with you and be in your store." And then I go, "Well, what is it?" And then I would tell them what it is. And as I'm telling them what it is, I would tell them why it makes sense to work with us. So we have a money-back guarantee. I'd like you to do it on a trial. I'd like you to pick up 12 bottles. I'll take your credit card today. We'll get the relationship started. Which do you prefer, credit card or, And so I would always be closing, always asking closing questions, always pushing for an answer, a sale. But yeah, I mean, it's. I'm kind of rambling, but it's like you have to have a strategy for those calls. You have to be confident. You have to know what you want to ask for. I kind of look at it like, guys who are really good with women are confident just going, "I want to date you."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they're good at juggling the answer. And it's a skill set. If you're afraid of it, learn things like just go to a Starbucks and ask for a free coffee and see if they'll give it to you.
Yeah.
But it sucks. Like I remember the first time, I remember wanting to quit sales. I was like crying. I'd moved from Nevada to Denver in this big city. I'd lost all my money. Now I'm failing at this sales job. I went 0 for 3 my first few appointments.
Yeah.
Fucking just getting shit on in people's houses. Feeling like a dirtbag. I was like, man, I don't want to push people. Do they really need this? And then I remember the day it snapped for me. I'm in this appointment and the guy goes, "No." And I was like, "What do you mean no?" And I got mad about it, so I was able to push through it and then made the sale, and then went 6 for 6 for the rest of the week. It never looked back, right? Yeah. My point with that is that some of you are gonna have to go through a lot of shit. You're gonna have to eat a lot of ego and get shit on, and
until you don't, right? Like as far as when you're meeting with these people, all of a sudden I think it's your attitude or like the way you present something, it's the confidence in what you're doing.
Yeah. Because
like you said, you were able to have that confidence even if you don't really like the product. Most people, you can see through that now.
Right.
Like they can't sell something.
Right.
Like if you're selling something that you don't 100% believe in, you're already starting handicapped, I believe now.
Right.
So just selling for the money is not going to work anymore. I think people's radar has gone up because of all the sales activity over the past 2 decades.
Yeah.
They've been pitched every which way. Like people's emails have been lit up. Everything's been like every sales tactic has been exhausted, I believe.
Right.
So how do you cut through this shit, right?
I had a guy pitch me the other day, and he was doing sales stuff, and I kept calling him out. I was like, "Did you just like the 2 times? Like, do you know how that works?
What
hey, Neel, I have 11 or 12. Which one works better for you? You never give anyone one choice. It's always 2 options.
Okay.
Hey, what works better for you, mornings or afternoons? It's the difference between 2 positives, right? It's like they're gonna have to pick one. Or like if you ever get really manipulative and you want to like always coax your friends into going to the restaurants you want, you go, hey, what do you guys think, Chinese or sushi? It's never like, it's like you're always directing someone
towards what you want.
Yeah, but he kept sales pitching me, and I was like, did you just use the 2 positive options? And he got all embarrassed. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like all this stuff has been used
so many times. Yeah.
Because that's happened. Now it's less effective.
But don't you think there's some core psychological things that do work?
They are, for sure.
Like leading the conversation.
Yep.
Objection. Dealing with objections ahead of time, and they really do work.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think so. And a lot of people are just going without the preparation of like, what could the objections be? How's this conversation going to go?
Yeah.
Even role playing.
Would you say a lot of people who are like listening or maybe getting into real estate, they don't think through and then they just pick up the phone?
Yeah, because they're told to just hustle, make the 40 calls today, make the 20 calls, set these appointments, and then they get shut down because they're losing so often. They stop doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not getting anything out of this. So
what do you think? Sorry to interrupt.
Do
you think, because I have this, you just made me have this vivid flashback of, I used to leave appointments and someone would be like, no, I got to talk to my wife.
Yeah.
And I would walk out of the meeting so pissed off for my own selfish reasons. Let me make that clear. Sometimes it really didn't make sense for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't care. All I cared was that I got a no, and that my sales percentage would go on the board, and I'd have to look at it and go, I didn't make something happen. So I would walk out of appointments and someone would be like, let me speak to my other financial advisor. Or, hey, you know what, Neel, we still want to shop around for rates. Or, hey, I'm uncomfortable with you pulling my credit. And I would go home and write them down and then script out the most clever answer I could come up with. And then no bullshit, I would rehearse it.
Yeah.
And say it out loud so I could be comfortable with what I was actually saying, until the point where my closing ratio was like 90%.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
But I think, so this is what I think, for people in outbound sales, unless you're going to elevate to the level you did, as far as with practice, confidence, handling objections, being aggressive, however you want to do it, always closing, all that stuff. Unless you're going to get to a plus game with that, then you're always going to struggle. So it's probably because you're in the wrong industry, or this isn't for you.
Yeah.
And you maybe want to do it a different way. So that's what I found is like, I'm not going to go ask for like the sale like you would, because I'm just different. Like I'm a totally different personality, right? So that's why.
Are you saying that like for real, Neel's different?
For real, yeah, I'm different, right?
Are you more of a?
I'm introverted. I'm not like aggressive with sales. So I would be like, I'm really good, and then this.
Would you say that's changed for you? Like, were you more aggressive back in the day?
I was more aggressive because I was more like I always think I was better than everybody else in my market. So I thought we were the best.
Which you probably were. Again, you're a genius. Maybe. Yeah.
But it just wasn't translating right. So I switched to more of like, instead of just telling people, why don't we just show them stuff, and it actually, our business doesn't necessarily require as much sales if you had enough inbound, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can change that around. Like in your business, in the beginning when you're getting going, you have to cold call all those retailers. I was like, how else are they going to find out about you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
You guys switched to this similar, like you did influencer marketing. That's what I want to ask you about. Was like at some point you guys switched to doing a lot more social stuff.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
No, I love what you're doing, buddy. Like it's in it. Everyone, because you said a couple of really wise things today.
Yeah.
Because I think people listen to certain things on the internet and you get neurotic about, like people get stuck on, like, oh, Chris said I got to go. It may not work for you that way.
Yeah.
But what Neel said earlier in the show was, like, if you're gonna do content, you have to have a balance. You still have to take care of the main part that feeds you.
Yeah.
Even though content may be funner, because it is funner.
For sure.
But I love what you're doing, though, is you're creating value first. So even when I was a great hardcore, hard close sales guy, I went above and beyond more than anyone else in my office, which is why I had my production was more than everyone else combined. Like I'd meet a client and then send them a book, and then I would send them, 2 more books on things that I knew they liked, and then more books on the subject we were going to talk about. And I would call them and play with them. I'd be like, hey, there's a quiz when I come back on Monday, right? I'm going to quiz you. And if you fail, I won't be your advisor. So, and I would have a lot of fun with it, right? But I would create value in between each step that would make people, because I legitimately cared. I legitimately wanted to help educate people on what I thought was the greatest thing. And I love that you're doing it. And you said something really smart. It's like, if you can create enough value and content, people will come to you, and you've already kind of eliminated the need to be a dick, to be a hard closing, hard charging.
Yeah.
Here's like, leave the pen on the table and just be quiet. Move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've never done that. No.
Yeah, I have.
That's crazy. But yeah,
I've sat in meetings where I did the pen trick and sat there for 10 minutes in silence.
And then awkwardness finally is enough.
And then the guy was like, all right.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's more like, so you feel so strongly about what you're selling that you'll do whatever it takes.
I believed back then, and I used to teach my guys, because I ran the sales team, was that if you don't love people and you don't if you lead with love, then that tough love is just part of it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I really loved people. I really thought what we were doing was the best possible option. So I used to give the analogy, and it's a bad one, so forgive me, but I always used to beat on my guys and be like, what if your brother was doing crack? Would you just and it was ruining his life. Would you politely pitch him on the idea that he shouldn't be on crack? Or would you get in his face a little bit? Would you let him walk out and give you an excuse like, hey, let me go talk to my wife about it? And I used to get really intense like that because I cared so much. So to me, the intensity, I didn't even see it at the time. That was probably a bit obnoxious.
That's awesome.
But I really cared. With that being said, I've also been kicked out of a ton of living rooms, like awkwardly.
Yeah.
Like I've had husbands try to fight me. I was
just wondering, like somebody pulls a shotgun at some point.
No one ever pulled a gun, but I'm probably pretty sure I was pretty close a few times. Like I used to get fired up, this is back when I was like 27 with even more ego and testosterone. And, a guy would be like, Chris, I'm not buying tonight. And I'd say something like, well, then look at her and tell her you don't care about her then. Because that's essentially the decision you're making right now.
And he'd be like,
you're shitting on her, not me. I don't care. I'll be successful. I don't give a shit.
Wow.
I'll still help other clients. And then, dudes would blow up and.
Wow, man.
Intense, right? Yeah, it was dumb.
So then okay, so you guys, with your marketing going forward for the new company, like what have you found as far as social media, influencers, like what are you seeing there?
Yeah, so we, I like your socks, dude.
Oh, thanks, man.
Are these, sorry everyone, are these shoes really the new thing? Like those are the jam?
I like them, yeah. They're really they're the most comfortable I've ever had. Did
you ever have any Boosts or anything? Adidas?
No, I never tried those.
Oh, those are so good.
Really? I don't think I weigh enough.
That was a fat joke. You guys missed it. We looked at the way we had done it before, just like pounding our heads against the wall. Yeah. And Neel's right. Like if you come up with one of these products, like the guys who just sold our X bar for $600 million to Kellogg's Corporation, they never took outside capital. 2 partners. Those guys banked a ton of money. They made a bar and they just went out and he goes, there is no secret. We just went out and sold it every day.
Yeah.
There is no magic sauce.
The product has to be good, obviously.
Yeah. No, I mean there is. There's I think you get good at systems and you can really be efficient.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of us pounding pavement and I mean, dude, walking into the worst, convenience stores in the worst neighborhoods and getting shut down by like 17-year-old kids who were like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then we realized we couldn't play that game. It was too expensive. Meaning, let's say you get into 400 Walmarts today. Number one, you probably can't handle it. Number two, you probably don't have the capital to be able to withstand it. Meaning all the shipping, all the things that come with it. You don't have the ability to do end caps or in-store displays because you probably don't have the capital, assuming you're just starting out.
Yeah.
And you happen to land an account. And so I always tell people that getting a product into stores, and this is going to sound douchey, and I'm sure someone's going to hate me for this, but getting it into a store is easy. That's the simple part. getting it out of a store consistently for 5 years is a whole nother thing. Yeah. And so when we relaunched the company, we decided to reverse engineer the distribution process. And I realized pretty quickly, I just read tribes and I was like, man, who's our tribe? Like who do we want to hang out with? Part of the reason we did Koios was this idea of like, I can be tattooed, we can go to LA Fit Expo and I can be in sweats and tennis shoes and it's not weird. We can do crazy events. Like if we did a Fit Soda beach party, no one would blink. And I was like, those are the kind of events I want to be around. I want to be around fun, creative, or like we could sponsor a music festival and no one would care. And it would allow our team to go and have fun while we're working, right? Like the Fit Expo, we had a villa, we had athletes with us, and it was a blast. Like we were all sad when we left. That's what I've always wanted is, can we have fun and do good while we do good, right?
Yeah.
And now we kind of have it. But when we were getting ready to relaunch, I was like, man, how do we build a tribe? And who is that tribe? Like who would we want to hang out with? Who's our, because I used to struggle like analysts and like get on like TV shows and people are like, who's your demo? And I'd be like, are you asking that because you just don't have any other questions to ask? Like you didn't prepare for this, and or do you really care what my demo is?
Yeah.
Because then you tell people and it's like, oh, okay. What's the average answer too? It's always like 18 to 40-year-olds, males and females.
So
like, okay, yeah. So we really started focusing on who's our tribe. The alarming part for me is I didn't even know. I was like, who am I? Who are we? Like what? So it was really cool for me to go through it.
And it ended up being fitness community.
Yeah,
like if I look at your Instagram page, it's all these fitness people.
We do a lot of fitness stuff, yeah.
Because that just fits basically. Like they want a healthier option. They want to take care of their.
Yeah, no, and in the beginning we did esports. I was big on esports 6 years ago. Again, before people knew about it and thought it was cool. We used to sponsor Team Impulse, and I wish we still had enough money to compete in that realm. Because it's exciting and I love playing video games.
Yeah.
So we really identified that like yoga, natural, holistic, we ended up sponsoring Yoga on the Rocks and all that stuff. But we really narrowed down who our tribe would be. And then we decided, how do we build the biggest digital tribe we can without even having a place for them to go yet? Who cares? And how do we connect with them? So I always tell people we're more of a digital communication company than we are a beverage company, because it's true. And as we built this swell of people now, so I would tell people building an audience, and I think this is so important. I would love Neel's feedback because again, he's 10 times smarter than me. But what I used to do wrong on social media, and Gary Vee used to say it all the time, and I didn't listen. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
He'd talk about connecting with people, and I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. What does that mean? If you have a platform, and somebody connects with you on that platform, I don't think you understand how big of a responsibility and like tip of the hat, or like how much that person's opening up to you. And I think it's incumbent on people trying to build big audiences that you should reach out to them.
Yeah.
Take the time to look at their story, like their real profile, find something you can connect with them on, and start a conversation. And I know Gary Vee's been saying that for years, but I never got it until we started really building Koios. Like we have an entire team of people that all they do is sit there and answer and talk to people.
Yeah, it's a real community.
Like,
yeah.
And so it hit me when I had hit depression, and I was like, I get why people want to be in communities now. I get why CrossFit.
They're like hungry for it.
Because we don't have it anywhere.
Yeah, so they're on there messaging people. Like I've experienced it on just a very small scale. Just some dude isolated in fucking Florida who's in the same industry, and he's like, man, I watch your stuff and it's awesome. I want to do the same thing. Like, what do you think about this? And it's hard to manage all these people, like as far as the communication goes. But when you do, you build like a real strong community, because then they'll tell everybody else, hey, check out this guy or check out what he's doing. And they really start to become like your best advocates, right?
And friends.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like you said something again that was smart earlier about being genuine.
Yeah.
If you genuinely care about a community, the money will come. If you add value, it's like Tony Robbins always say, like the amount of money you make in your life is in direct proportion to the value you create. If you're building a community and you touch people's lives and you communicate and you act like a real person and you actually care, the money will be there. But even more importantly, the magic you can create from that, like, if any of you watching this, we ever see you at an expo, come say hi. you'll feel the love in our team. Like people want to be there. They want, and it's really special.
So they believe what they're doing. They like the people. They like the community. It all works together.
Yeah. But again, I was such a like driven dickhead that like I didn't get community for so long. Like I was such a selfish dickhead. Like I'd be like, oh, thanks for, I'd be like, oh, you're welcome that you're following. Like I would be a dick. I didn't get it.
Cause that's pretty bad. Like as you're growing, and I see this happen all the time where people aren't responding.
Ever.
Like, who the fuck are you to not respond? Like somebody gave you what you wanted. You wanted to build an audience. Now you have a small audience and you're not communicating.
That should be one of the video clips that's on. No, it's so true though. Like this person felt vulnerable.
You know how hard it is to send? Like I've typed a comment like when I was first getting on social.
And then been like, no, fuck that. Yeah. I'm not going to say that. What a dork. And you beat yourself up.
You
and
write it 4 times.
Douchebag.
And then at the end, you don't even send it. Or like wrote out a whole DM, sent it. They didn't see it, delete it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, there's a psychosis to it.
You're like, fuck, I don't want to put myself out there. Like if I were to say.
Is that true for you? Like you'd reach out to like guests or whatever and.
Yeah, I would delete it.
Be like embarrassed. Oh, fuck.
Because I would write it and I would like do that. I would look like a fucking idiot. Or like I'm a douchebag. Whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to be vulnerable and like tell someone if somebody did that to you and said how they felt and stuff, and then you don't even fucking reply and it says
that's shitty.
And you don't reply, like that is the worst.
That's
especially
shitty.
when you're trying to grow. Like I understand when you get to a really big scale, you may miss some, and that's just part of
the game.
Yeah, part of the game. But like you're dealing with that by having people in the staff that helps you respond to everybody.
Because I'm obsessed about it. It was ruining my life because I'd be on Instagram all day, like just wanting to talk to people like, hey, thank you so much, and oh my God, we love you, and hey, I saw that you went to the rodeo in Reno. I used to go to that. How was it?
It's faster for me now to send voice memos.
I do the same.
I love that shit.
I do the same, and I remember the first one I sent. I was like, Gary Vee would be so proud because it's another step. Like I could show you 10 on the phone where people are like, I can't believe the CEO of this company reached out on a Sunday afternoon to say thank you. Yeah. He used to talk about that in Twitter, sending like video messages in the comments, which is where I stole it from.
That's cool. But this is something that's important for people to understand is like, everybody talks about you raise money. What's the number one thing that people want to know? Scale.
Yeah.
How to scale your business? How quickly can you scale? What's the total? What's the TAM? Like, what's
your EBITDA?
Yeah, exactly.
I used to get big bankers that would ask me that. I'd be like, why are you asking me that?
Yes. What the fuck?
Why do you care?
At this stage, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So you probably just did that because you're nervous or whatever. I don't know. But why do you care what my fucking EBITDA is? It's gonna look like shit
until it doesn't
for 10 years until we get bought out by Coke at $4 a share.
Exactly. So they don't realize that like all these metrics are really like the scale. Everyone's focused on scaling, but like doing things that the banker or the guy in that meeting would say are stupid is where there's gold now. Like people don't realize doing dumb shit. Like someone would say, oh, you're gonna waste the next 8 hours replying to individually to people and having an individual conversation. That's dumb. Like that's the worst use of your time. But they don't understand like that's where the things that people are unwilling to do, like the big brands aren't gonna do that. Like are you gonna be able to communicate with a big brand like that? No. Like no. So you're building tribe community and that can scale, that can create its own scale.
Right.
Because those people will be your best customers.
Yeah. For me, I think what I never got, and so many, again, nuggets right there for everybody, but I think I was bad at it before because I was selfish, and then I was only doing it for money.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't genuine. And I think for me, I'm still growing as a person, and there's still a lot of things I want to get better at, including being more emotionally available. And our VP of sales, who's the backbone of our company, without her, we'd be nothing. Gina, she's always like, you're so like, and it's like, it's just because sometimes I get in that zone of like trying to protect the herd.
Yeah.
But I think now as I've grown, I'm really into community. I really do care about people. I really do feel special when that random person posts about our drink in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and went out of their way to go get it. And I feel so honored by that. But it changed in me when I got depressed, and I was like, man, tribes matter. Tribes are everything.
Big time.
And it's a little scary for me because I feel like as a society we're getting really away from that, but that's a whole nother show.
And so I think that's the advantage that people need to realize when they're like David versus Goliath. How the fuck can I win?
Yeah.
You can do these things which the big brands will never do.
Yeah.
These are the things that only brands like you, only local people like me would be willing to do.
Right.
Because that's where.
Buddy, I'll spend $20 million a year at a certain point just to have people. Do you know what I mean? Like it's that important to me. Like
because that's the backbone of your business at some point.
Yeah.
So if people want to buy the product, they can go to the website, or like can you go direct to consumer now?
That's another thing I was going to tell people. The way you can compete, I don't know how banking works, but in consumer goods, I think with how Shopify works, the game's changed. People want to work with.
They want to go direct.
They do. Yeah. And so if you are thinking about making a thing, you don't have to compete at retail anymore. You can go direct and really, really compete, especially if you're doing the things that Neel said. But I mean, you can go to our store locator. We're in over 6,000 stores nationwide. We'll probably eclipse 12,000 this year, from Whole Foods to natural grocers to Walmarts to GNCs to vitamin shops to.
Did you buy in Reno?
Yeah. GNC's and Walmart.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy it there. I just went to the website.
Oh, nice.
I ordered a case.
Oh, nice.
So that's the way to do it.
We should just sponsor your show.
Yeah. That's it.
Hard close me,
We'll have
Neel.
it every time.
Sell me a sponsorship.
Okay. That's awesome.
That'd be fun. We should do that live.
That'd be cool. So if you guys want to find out more about Chris, he's on Instagram as well, right?
Yeah.
You don't do much personal content. Everything's kind of.
I'm kind of glad I did this because it's inspiring for me.
Yeah.
I love.
You should set some time aside to do it, man.
I know. I need to.
So, check out koiosbeverage.com, right?
Yeah. Are we wrapping up?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you real quick though.
Yeah.
What would you tell people about content when they have There's a part of me that even though I know I feel like I'm entertaining. There's part of you there's so much data now. Yeah. How do you separate?
What do you mean? Oh, overload. Information overload?
There's 70 guys talking about grind until you die, and how do you really differentiate?
Well, you got to look at what's going, like we talked about earlier, what's going to work for you. You may not be that dude. I'm not you. You're not me, right? So we have to figure out what's going to work for individually. So there's so much advice coming at you. I think you got to just pick something and try it. I think what's happening now is people are getting so much information, it's becoming so overload that you just are permanently stuck in this analysis phase. And I'm gonna come up with a strategy for our social media. Well, you've been saying that for 2 years.
Right.
You guys haven't posted 3 times. So what's going on? What's going on here? So why not just try? And it doesn't. I think the thing that people don't realize is nobody cares. There's so much content. So if I was just getting started and I did a shitty video, or my first podcast sucked shit, dude, there's not going to be that many people watching or listening to it anyway. So what does it matter? We think our content is so important. I'm not going to put something trashy out. Why not? So I think it's just a matter of just trying. And then if it sucks, what is the downside? It's not that much downside. You know what I mean?
One more question, if you don't mind. How do you come up with content based on life experience, or do you build a back catalog of stuff where you're like?
So we create content. I think this.
Can I take a picture of you, by the way?
Yeah.
We'll post it on the Koios Instagram.
Yeah. So you would probably be better served to do content in batches, you know what I mean. So, you say you did this video right here, right?
Yeah.
This can produce a long form. It can produce a long form video, long form podcast, audio podcast, 3 or 4 written articles, blogs, probably 10 pieces of micro content that I could use.
What you just said is so smart, because I've never heard it that way before, even though I should have been smart enough to think of that way on my own, but that's smart.
Well, the advice is out there, but you don't realize how, until you actually do it. We've done it. We cut this up, and we're like, oh, here's 6 clips that we can use. Here's some for you, Chris, that you could use.
Right.
Where you said something that you've never said before.
Right.
That you might want to share with your audience.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In a unique way. And the cool thing about capturing conversation versus trying to film straight to camera is that this is just, we didn't have an idea. I didn't tell you what the fuck we're going to talk about today.
Right.
We had no idea. So the conversation just happens naturally. And that's what people want. They want something genuine, authentic. So I would tell people, if they want to get started with content, just think more like capture the conversation or document a meeting or a podcast. However you want to do it. And then from that, you'll find good stuff. Because if you know what you're talking about, it's going to come up in the conversation.
Right.
So that we create in batches. We'll do 3 or 4 interviews, maybe go film an event or something. And then from that grip of long form content, we'll extract all the micro clips. And then we'll take it a step further and extract illustration clips, images.
Yeah. Those are good, by the way.
Thanks, man. So we do those. We kind of do all these different things. And it's just like you hit them with different things and see what works.
Yeah. That's awesome. So yeah, no, people can go to our website, Amazon, Walmart.com, GNC.com. I mean, we're kind of everywhere at this point. So yeah, and if you are all the trash I talked about connecting, if you ever want to email me, I don't know if you guys can post it or
we can put it up here.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be down to talk to any of you guys. So reach out, say what's up, follow us on Instagram. But yeah, I'd love to communicate with you. So
cool, man. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, of course, buddy. So good to see you, bro.
Yeah, likewise.